Welcome to the Love and Victory Show with Val, the place to laugh, sip on a little wine, and have open and honest conversation. Here you will find the tools to resolve real life issues. Unwind, pour up a glass, and get ready to exhale. Welcome to the Love and Victory Show with Val. Today we'll be conversating with Frankie, committed to the craft. Frankie is a artist that up and coming artist. I don't like to just keep it basic. He's a musician that's up and coming, and he has a lot to say. He reached out to the Love and Victory Show with Val, and I was just so excited when we kind of did some deep diving on him, and we felt like it would be a great interview to have. So tell me, why did you reach out to the Love and Victory Show with Val and wanted to collaborate with us?
I've really tried to dedicate myself this year towards making sure that I can increase my brand's potential to be something significant one day. So I've been doing everything I possibly can for that. And one of those, unfortunately, now I feel like we live in an attention
Hmm.
economy now. So it's kind of like you have to figure out, how am I going to get my name out there? And there's so many wonderful ways and to do that. So I saw a couple clips and I said, oh, I definitely would love to be
Okay,
on this.
then. So you did your homework, you did your research, and one of the things that you've learned getting your name out is you have to align yourself with credible brands. That's important. And if you haven't learned that, if you connect yourself with the wrong brand or even sit on the wrong podcast or radio show, it can kill you. Or you'll spend time wasting time trying to justify why you were there. So thank you for doing your work and research and reaching out to the Love and Victory Show with Val. Well, okay, tell us about yourself and what is this music artist all about? What do you do? Tell me what kind of music that you do. Let them know.
So I kind of do this kind of chill pop R&B thing. That's sort of, it's like an, I would say it's Drake and Daniel Caesar
Oh,
kind of combined, or for love kind of thing.
okay.
He's kind of main inspiration, but a lot of my inspiration is very retro. Grew up with my parents always playing Motown and a lot of '70s music, so I really got into that earlier kind of stuff. Like Stevie Wonder to me is probably like one of the best artists I've ever
Okay.
heard.
Well, I'm really excited. And when I heard music, and now that you're really telling me that you're into the R&B and the rock, I want to hear a little bit. I mean, I'm gonna throw you off your game. It's kind of like when someone tells me they sing, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna come from you, hit a note. So, I hope you
Oh,
can share a little bit with us.
oh, like one of my
Yeah,
songs.
you have a little something you can share before we get going. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got. So this is a release that I did this week. Uh, Called 2023, but this song is called Strange
Okay,
Times.
before you started to play, I want to do about a good 45 seconds of it. The reason why, and then we'll come back later and I'm going to allow you to give us a good song and we'll tag it and we'll promote you out there. But I want you to tell me what this song is about. Tell our listeners what this song is about and why are you choosing. You had no idea I was going to allow you to do this. Why are you choosing this
I know.
particular song and what it means to you?
So this song, in particular, it was when this was kind of like the moment I felt like everything in my life kind of like changed, and I think this one and this project was basic. It was basically about futility. So it was basically going up against impossible odds for things that won't last
Okay.
forever. And so the first song, Strange Times, is about like love in that sense, and like the feeling of love and the whole chase and the whole aspect of it. And then it goes into Sisyphus, which is the myth of Sisyphus is basically it's a Greek tale. It's an ancient Greek tale about how a king that went against Zeus was then punished by having to push a boulder up a hill for the rest of
Hmm.
his life, and it would just roll back down after he pushed it all the way up the mountain. And the whole idea about that is, we, in comparison to this song, doing something for a super long time that makes you go insane because you just feel like it's the repetition of going through the motions of
Okay, I
failure.
like that. I think back to when I first decided to walk away from corporate America, there was no one really pointing me in a direction. Coming from
Yeah.
parents that were entrepreneurs and watching them, I saw a lot of things that they did wrong just by not knowing. And one of the things that I pride myself on is not taking advantage of people. And when I can help them, I want to help them. So,
I come from a similar background, and um, I definitely relate in the sense that, like, my dad did so well, but I felt like he never realized how well he was doing because he was always comparing himself to
yes,
giants.
yes, exactly. And you have to stay in the lane that God has for you and appreciate it. It's kind of like smell the roses while you can. If you appreciate these roses, when you get to the next level, you can breathe and appreciate that. So appreciate where you're at right now. When you get there, take the time to appreciate it. So I want to really let you tell the artists, the listeners, who you are as an artist, who you are as a person. Introduce yourself to our listeners now that we've heard your music.
It took me a little while to figure out what the brand was, and it took me a little while to realize what the right direction
Before
was
we
for
go
me
to the
to.
brand, who are you as a man, Frankie? Who are you as
As
a man?
man, I am a mess. Let me tell you, I am absolute mess. I'm looking at my room right now. I was like, what angle can I put this camera at so they cannot see that I barely cleaned up today because I was doing a fantasy baseball draft prior
Yes.
to get out here, while telling my mom, "Hey, I'm busy with work, okay?" But I am a 27-year-old who does this while also doing catering and brand ambassadorship kind of stuff on the side, and I also do songwriting. I do editing for people. As an artist, I am a singer, songwriter, beat maker. I can rap and freestyle, but I'm not at the level where I feel as if I want to put it out all the time. And I'm very good at editing and writing lyrics. So my main things are singing, lyric writing, and editing are my three big strengths, and
Oh,
cracking jokes when I should.
okay. So, do you have any siblings? And are you the only child? Are you married? Are you dating? Come on, tell them. All of these questions are gonna. I know they're gonna be asking in the comments. So, give it to us.
So I'm not married, but I've been with my girlfriend for about a year
Okay.
now. We just came back from Ecuador. We were there for a month in December. I've got two very much so older sisters than me. I think the age difference is 8 and 11 years old. Yeah, 8 and 11 years older. So 35 and
Okay.
38 or 39. Yeah, no, they just turn. Yeah, so I think 38. And what was I gonna say? I did. My dad had two marriages, so
Different.
they're from the
Okay.
first.
Okay. What
Yeah.
do you think that makes you stand out in the industry more so than others? Or what can you do that you can stand out more?
That's a really good question. Uh, I think what I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna add hmm, a weirder, more authentic world to the pop scene.
Okay.
I
So
think.
can you give me a little bit more of that when you say weirder but real? Tell me what you mean by that.
Um, so I think what I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna probably go against pretty unconventional bubblegum kind of thing. Is though those, like, I do have those kind of songs, but I feel like the songs that are going to do the best are probably the ones where I was like, this is the one, this is the song I made for myself.
Okay.
So songs like Sisyphus, I think will do well, but there's this one song called Vincent's Exhaustion I just did. I think this song could be the biggest song in the world, but it's it's like it's kind of Bohemian Rhapsody like. It's very changing of things and not what you usually see. But I think that I think if anything, what I bring that's different is just thinking outside the box. Like I have a type of creativity that just doesn't
Wow,
stop.
I love that. And what I'm hearing is that you really believe in yourself. And you're not afraid of taking a chance, and you're not really so caught up in your head worrying about what other people think. So I commend you for that.
I
I'm sorry, say that again.
no, I said I appreciate that. I think that I'm definitely you'd be shocked at how much of an overthinker I can be
Really?
though. Very much
But
so.
is that because of the overthinking? Is because you are in your brain is constantly going because you're creating and you're wanting to add more, or is it because you're second guessing yourself?
It was second, and it was never second
Okay.
guessing. It was like trying to create something that the world would like love, and for a while, that pursuit kind of drove me like insane. And then I had to just be basically be like, screw it,
Well,
put
I
it out.
think I would ask you to kind of look at that a little different. I don't think that that's a negative. I think that that's truly God pouring into you, not pushing anything on you, but I think that's God pouring into you. And when you're getting a lot coming in, sometimes you just have to just write it down, step away from it, but don't look at it as a negative. It's just your creative side. It's just your gift, and it's coming
Exactly.
to you. So just keep moving in that direction. Don't look at it negative. It is not negative. It's just more content, more blessings coming your way. And I love the fact that you said that you're going to do your thing a little different than other people. And I don't even want to call it weird. I'm going to say different because you're wanting to make music that means something, that is relatable. You're going to speak from the heart, experiences. Is that what I'm hearing you say? So when you're talking and when you're making a song about love, it's truly you've experienced love, or maybe something has hurt you, or is it something that you've went through? Is that the kind of music you're wanting to do versus just putting out something that everybody else is doing?
Yeah, for I've just always been someone who doesn't do what most people do. I've just always like I just thought I didn't see
Hmm.
value in it because I was like I'm doing it. So um I think that I'm definitely trying to blaze my own trail right now, and I think that I'm starting to figure out how to how to do it. That takes like a very long
Well,
time, and
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
one of the ways I want to do it is I think that there's a big misconception, but with artists when it comes to
Hmm.
money, and they kind of look at money as the root to all evil, and they say therefore what I'm going to do is to be an artist that goes broke their entire life to stay as the integrity of an artist. And I think what I kind of want to do is I kind of want once I make it, I kind of want to create some more money making. I kind of want to carve more of money making opportunities for people within this industry because I think that it's a really very difficult industry, and I feel like a lot of people deserve to be paid for their time a lot more than
Okay.
are.
So with all that's going on, and I'm glad we can stay there a little bit. We're starting to hear, and there's a lot of information going out there on the internet, and talks are going on about how dark the industry is, how dark Hollywood is, the music. What's your take on that? Do you think that it is, or what's your take on it? Do you think you have to sell yourself out in order to become famous, or is that true? Any truth to that?
Um, I
I
would.
know that's a difficult question to answer, but I want you to think about it before you answer, and I really want you.
Haven't gotten to that level, so I could not speak. I could not speak with it with a lot of. I was going to say with a lot of clarification and understanding of what I was saying. Uh, but if it is going on, I assume that I assume that there's a lot of stuff we probably
Hmm.
don't know
The
behind
scene.
behind the shadows, but I would say that's probably possible in every industry instead of just
Great
music.
answer. And I'm sure it's darkness in all industries. My question is, what would you do to keep yourself, keep your integrity intact, and then keep your name one that people want to stay connected with as you grow, because you're going to grow. I tell you, you're going to grow. From what I hear, you're going to grow. You're just going to have to stay in there and keep believing in yourself and doing what you're doing. How are you going to keep your name intact? And how are you going to keep yourself away from the negative that could be out there?
Uh, Meditate daily. Start eating a lot healthier would be two of the things, because one thing I've noticed is that if I stop exercising, my mind is no longer strong, and unfortunately, the more successful you are, you need a stronger mind. You have to have a bigger stomach, and I think that uh, basically just the daily upkeep of me. And also, I read the comments now because I need to comment on the comments and make sure like I'm accruing the fan base. But once I get to a certain level, I'm not gonna read comments anymore, because and the reason why is because my biggest hero of all time. I didn't want to be a musician when I was a kid. I wanted to be shortstop for the New
Oh,
York
wow.
Yankees. My biggest hero. I know. I small dreams
Wow.
is what I
That's
had.
good.
But yeah, my biggest hero in life has always been
Mm.
Derek Jeter, and Derek was notorious for saying, "I've never read a single word of press, because if I read the good press, I'd also have to read the bad press for it to be fair." I don't know if the last quote was exactly him. I might be splicing something else, but he said the first thing, and he said he never would read the press, and so I've always thought to myself that Joe Rogan doesn't do it. I'm sure Elon Musk doesn't do it. Uh, People at the top, it's like at some point you just got to tunnel
Yes.
vision, right?
Well, I have to say this. I think about when we first started the podcast, it wasn't anything that I even had a desire to do. It was just something, we started the podcast from my nonprofit. So had a nonprofit. The team said, why don't you do a podcast as a way to get the message out about the nonprofit? Well, in my real life, I open up physician practices. I go into existing practice. I can do that all day. So taking me into something that I'm unfamiliar with was very scary. And I think if I would have listened, and it took a while. I mean, I couldn't even remember the name that I'd even given it when I first did the podcast, but just really keeping my head down and not really focusing on there was only one. We did a radio show and it was only one or two people coming on, and looking at those numbers. And then one day, lo and behold, the numbers just started growing. God sent me the right team. They listened to what he was telling me to do, and we put some things in place, and it just started growing. And so I'm one that believes if you connect yourself with the right people, you listen. Sometimes you have to go into that quiet place and listen to the
Yeah.
direction, and don't focus on the small numbers. Like you said, don't focus on the comments. Just know that the gift you were given, you're going to stay on track and you're going to do that. So basically, keep your head down and keep moving forward. That's my philosophy.
I used to I used to have like my week ruined by a negative comment when I was younger, and now I'll get a bad comment. I'll be like, okay, cool, and I'll just
Yeah.
move on. I bet, and sometimes I'll say to myself, people. Sometimes I'll say to myself, because I'll see a hater comment sometimes, and I'll think to myself, like most people will go, uh, I feel like most people would go, "Oh, that's a hater." Sometimes I'm like, what if that's a person who was trying to give criticism? They didn't come across the right way of commenting the criticism, but they were actually valid in what they were saying. So sometimes I'm like, so like I've noticed this. The best videos I ever come out with, I get great comments, right?
Right.
But the ones done better. That's where you get the
Right.
hate comments. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, Mr. Beast doesn't really get hate comments. Or they're not the most genuinely liked thing on there because his thing is so excellent that what can you
Right.
hate about it?
Right. Well, here's the thing too. If people are going to say what they're going to say, you take the good with the good and you take the bad with the bad. If it's something you can learn from it, from the bad, take it and move on, but don't let that define you. Someone's comments, someone's negative comments, a lot of times is where they are. There are going to be some people that are going to give you some negative feedback because they want to help you, but you can't sit in the negative. So you have to keep moving. You can't let other people's opinions define who you are, Frankie. Keep going. Okay?
That, but do you have like a couple people you take the advice from,
Oh
like
my
you ask, hey,
God!
is
I
it good?
One of the things that I do after every show, my team, my staff know that I want to hear the good, the bad, and the ugly. After every show, after every podcast, I ask them what do they think. How was that? How did I do? And especially with my editor, who is listening intensely as he is editing and getting all of the content together to put it out there, I always ask him, so what do you think? As a listener, because he's literally listening to what we're putting out there. And so I take it. My husband on the radio show is my co host. And so in the beginning, he was the person that really he had that outgoing personality. So I really took the feedback from him. And you'll notice if you go back to some of the old radio shows, I would lean on him a lot. What do you have to say, Brother Carter? Brother Carter. He knew that that was my way of saying, I need you to help me out. Help me out. And so I'm always a person that's very transparent. I'm very honest. And so when someone come to me with something negative, I don't really take it as a punch hit because I already own my stuff. And so if you know what your flaws are and you can hear from people that care about you and even people that don't care about you, when they say something, it is what it is. If you're trying to hurt me, move on. I already know my shortcomings. So,
No, and that's the hardest. The hardest is when it comes from family and
yes.
friends. That's the toughest, where they're like, "Are you sure you want to do this? Do you know what you're giving up on?" And
Yes.
you're not gonna have the security. You're not gonna have the security when you're 80. And I'm like, you do realize in 5 years you're going to
Right.
ask me for money.
You keep
Um,
that attitude. Well, I've been asked that. I was asked that even when I walked away from corporate America. Why are you walking away from a six-figure job? You have a job. Well, that wasn't for me, you know. So people that don't understand what has been placed on the inside of you, all they can do is look from the outside and see themselves. So you can't focus on their vision for you. You have to focus on your vision for yourself. Okay.
yeah. And what was I gonna say? It's a lot of times it would come from. It was like that was the biggest motivator too. Every single time my friends were like, "Yeah, we needed to talk, dude. Like, dude, are you sure? Like, it's like your dad does commercial real estate. Maybe there's still a chance there, or if you go back to graduate school, you could do this and do that." And I'm thinking to myself, listen, I'm young, where I'm young enough to have as much energy as I'm ever gonna have in
Right.
my life. I've taken the hits at this point, and taking all the hits. I'm still standing. What can possibly at this point? It's
Right.
fine. I I've done okay up until this point. I figured it out. It's like I don't think that I don't think it's as scary as people think it is. But I think a lot of people in their minds, they well, what's insane is they treat you, when you're an artist, they treat you with zero respect up until the day you're successful, and then they'll say they always knew you could do it, and they'll say things like, "Hey, remember me?" And when I, which is like weird because it's like, of course I'll remember you, but it's like I saw you last Tuesday. What are you
Yes.
talking about? Um, but what's so weird is you basically get spat on by society up until the moment you actually make it, and then when you make it,
Then
you go,
you're gonna
yeah, the money making,
it just it goes from
and
here to hear, and it's almost like overnight. And the Johnny come latelys will be there, and so that's when you have to really put those Johnny come latelys, not being ugly, but you have to remember there are some in your family you're just going to do what you're going to do to take care of. There are going to be friends. There are going to be some that you're going to do what you're going to do, but then there are going to be some you're going to have to say, I appreciate your support, but keep them there. You understand what I'm saying? Because everybody can't take that road with you. I want to take this conversation a little. What do you think is the bad side of the music industry? Tell me, what do you think, if there's a bad side? And what's the good side?
The good side is you get to do something with pure expression. The bad side is only at the top do you make money at this thing, and you can make a couple $100 here and there if you're an unknown from either gigs, or you can do it from, I don't know, merch, or from writing for other people, which we've all done. But it's that I would say the bad side is it's incredibly competitive, and they tell you that competition shouldn't be a thing, and I think that's a load of shit because I part of my language. Um, yeah, I look at contemporaries, people that are around my level, and I think to myself, like, in a friendly way, not in like
Yeah.
a burden way. But I think to myself, like, man, what did he do there? How did he do that? Like, how can I make my thing better? So the dark side is it's very hard to make it, but the upside is if you make it, the reward is crazy. And then another thing I would say is you don't get like benefits like 401k or anything. So you have to really, really make it at the thing. But once I get to that point where the doors are open, so many doors are open, it's crazy.
What do you
So
think? How do you think that the ones that make it, do they make it because they got that right connection with someone, or do they really get, because you hear people have been singing for years, 10 and 15 years before all of a sudden they have a song come out, and it's like, oh, where did this artist come from? And when you hear them in an interview, the interview is like, oh, when they're interviewing, they're like, I've been singing for 10, 15 years. What is it that usually, how does it happen?
so I've looked at this, right. I've those happen all the time. They those do happen, and it might be a connection. I don't think it's a connection thing. It might just be a luck
Okay.
thing, or the name was picked maybe by the labels. Maybe they haven't been a. I don't really know how labels work yet, but what I would say is that the stars, if you look at all of them, their confidence is the highest confidence on the face of the planet, and they have what Apollo Creed would say in Rocky 3. They have the eye of the
Mm.
tiger, and I rewatched it the other day because I had lost my eye of the tiger. And when a friend had made there was a friend that just completely disrespected me, like in like this group chat in front of people, um about like my career path
Mm.
and whatnot. And I said, I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
show you. And I was, watch me be more successful than you. And I went straight to making a beat. I made the best song I had ever made that day. The next day, I go out and make the best content I ever made. And then I went on to make 10 beats in
Wow.
10 days on top of that, while also making about 30 pieces of content and also working like a job at the same time. So I went full beast mode. Uh, and so now I feel the problem is now I feel like the sea is calm again. After I do all my work, the sea is calm again, and I hate that feeling. I need somebody to
Oh,
piss me off. I
so
need
you get your
because
motivation
yeah,
from other people, or from
yeah.
people saying what you can't do, which is a good thing. So maybe that's why you can take some negative comments and it get motivated on it. So your friend did you a favor What he thought was bad, he did a huge favor for you.
Huge favor for me. But no, I mean, Muhammad Ali, I'm gonna show you how
Yes,
great I am, kind of
yes.
thing. Imagine somebody his entire life was like, Cassius, you've done a great job, good job. This is good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry.
Right. You would
Never be
never
Muhammad.
be, he would have never been Muhammad. Great. I love that. So let me ask this next question, and then I'm going to ask you to ask me anything you want to ask, and I'm free range. So, uh,
Awesome.
do you rely on connections mostly in the and networking to make your music, or is it just something that you just get in the room and you go for it?
Um, no, I just get in the. So I didn't have connections when I first started this. If I went into another industry, I would have had
Okay.
connections. But I would say that I'd say at a certain point, uh, at a s- at a certain point, yes, it's who you know, but you gotta create the thing that's amazing for people to care. Like I'm in I'm in a circle right now that I have a tight circle right now, where in like in 5 to 10 years, I believe it's gonna be like I'm Kanye, yeah, my producer's Pharrell,
Okay.
and Tyler the Creator, and another boy is Frank Ocean,
Okay.
and I genuinely believe that. But so I would say connections in the sense that you grow together, but I would say you have to be excellent for for people to even care, and the standard has to increase. The reason why it's connections is because if you're around people that are amazing at the thing, it's amazing what you do. You can't help but improve and learn and
I
get
like that.
better, right? Even if you're not talented, like I don't think I'm the most talented out of the people I hang out with, but I'd rather hang out with them than people that gas me up and tell me, "Oh, I'm doing a really good job," because I think that they actually have like legit talents. But yeah, with that with that being said, yeah, it's like I said, it is connections, but it's also
Yes,
what do you make.
I have to agree with you. You have to surround yourself with people that are experts or is going in the direction or that can help you grow in where you're trying to grow. If you hang out with people that just don't know and you don't know, how are you going to get the knowledge and the information that you need to grow? So I think that's a great idea. I mean, I think that's perfect because that's what I do in my business, you know. You have to just if you want to be poor, you hang out with not trying to be ugly, but if you want to stay poor, you hang out with people that have no motivation. If you want to grow and you want to gain knowledge and wealth or whatever it is that you want to grow in, you hang around with people that are going in that direction. So that's my thought. Well, what
Yeah.
questions you have for me? Or
Um.
do you?
So you live in
Yes, I
Texas,
do.
right?
Houston, Texas. We're in
Okay.
Houston, Texas.
So has it always been based out of Houston, Texas, the
Yes,
podcast, or
that's where
over
I
there?
live at. We've done shows everywhere. I think the first show that I was contacted by someone in New York to come and speak, and that was from doing. She was having a summit, and I was asked to come to. I went to White Plains, New York, to.
Oh, I'm right next. I was born. Not I was born. I grew up
Oh
right next to
wow!
there in this small town.
Yes, wow. So I came to New York. She found me. She heard my podcast. No, but she heard me on the radio. And she had a summit, and it was a pretty big summit. And so I was really excited that I got invited to come there and be a guest speaker at her summit. So I think it's opened up doors for me, doors that I could not have imagined. I absolutely love talking to people all over the world. I love putting positive stuff out. You know, I think it's so much negative out there, and I think what the Love and Victory show allows us to do is to have a conversation from people from all walks of life that are doing all different things and bringing us together and creating a beautiful community.
Yeah, I can't do the
Yes.
negativity
Yeah.
anymore. York, York. I
Yeah.
hate New York. I this right now. It is the most overrated
Okay.
piece of to ever.
Well, what are you going to do? Are you going to get out of there? What are you going to do?
I sort of love it at the same time. No, No, I'm probably gonna
You're gonna
move to
move to
Jersey,
Jersey.
but
So tell me, it's
well,
still
that's
the
what
same. What's the difference? Is Jersey different than?
it's, no, it's honestly unlivable. What you get for if you pay if you pay three if you pay 3,000 a month in
Mm-hmm.
Manhattan, you get closet like you get barely anything. If you went to Arkansas with 3,000 a month, you're getting like you might as well buy the freaking brownstone
Yeah,
at that point. But
yeah,
like and he like for 3,000 a month, you barely I pay like 2,500. My rent increase was a 25% rent
yeah.
increase.
It's unbelievable.
Not the what I had to do to qualify for an apartment was like actually insane. And at the set, and when you what was I gonna say? And I'm in Brooklyn, but if you and so and coffee is like $6. I just went down to Ecuador for $4.50. I'm not even joking. You go to a nice restaurant for breakfast for $4.50. You get an entire big plate of like an IHOP like breakfast, right? You get a handmade juice and you get a cup of coffee that you can have refilled like 2 or 3 times for $4.50. $1 less than my medium iced coffee costs in the morning at a coffee
Wow,
shop around the
wow.
block.
Well, I can tell you, Houston, Texas is everybody's moving here from California to New York, and I think everybody loves it here because you can get a lot. Everything is big in Texas, so you got big land, we have big houses, you get a lot for your money. However, we're feeling the brunt of everyone coming here because things are going up like crazy. So,
Yeah, I'm someplace else, and
yeah,
then there's this,
yeah.
and then yeah, it's like what was I gonna say? That's well, California's ridiculous
Right,
with
right,
price.
right. Well, I think one of the things that as I said earlier, you are an amazing talent. Before I end this show, I want you to put your song on again. What would you like to leave the listeners with, the Carter crew with? What would you like to leave them with about you, and how can they find you?
Um, I guess what I would like to leave them with is uh, think about think outside the box. If you know it's gonna work, stay focused. Don't and just tunnel
Yes,
vision. Dedicate yourself. You will find results. Results will always come. And if you think you're all over the place, just know that Da Vinci was extremely ADHD and didn't finish most of his projects. Got fired multiple times. From actually, I don't know if he got fired, but he did get a, a lot of commissioned works that he had. He never finished them at all. Didn't even touch them, and he was still remembered as one of the greatest of all
that's
time.
because he had so
So
much being poured into him that there was no, it couldn't be contained. It was just so much. So you would say, keep going.
I'd say keep going. If you know your thing is good, then just figure out in today's society how are you going to market it. I'm in the same boat, just trying to figure it
Well,
out.
I can say anything to you. Thank you so much, Frankie, for taking the time to do your research and finding the Love and Victory Show with Val. You have truly become one of our family members here. I always say to my team, when there is someone great that I connect with, I want to stay connected. So you're definitely one that I have connected with. You're easy to talk to, and you're definitely passionate about what you're doing. I think we're going to be reaching back out to you when we go off here. I'm gonna have a continued conversation with you offline. So again, thank you again for being a part of the Love and Victory Show podcast. And until next time.
I don't have time for you. Got too much to do.